Hello, my friends. Today I am back with another storytime video for you guys. This one is more on the medical side, so if that shit bores you, I'm sorry. This story isn't like crazy or like, totally like scary, but it was a very, very scary time while it was going on, and I still remember it to this day. It wasn't that long ago, it was a few years ago. But anyway, I'm just gonna jump right in. Really don't have anything else to say. Usually I just talk your ear off in the beginning of these videos, but I'm not gonna do that today. We're just gonna jump right in. This story is definitely not the longest story in the world. It's pretty short, but just so that it's not literally 2 seconds long, I'm gonna put in as many details as I can remember. So, as a good amount of you already know, I have severe scoliosis. I say it all the time. In case you don't know, scoliosis means your spine is curved in some type of way. There are so many different variations of scoliosis. It's kind of insane. There's some people that have scoliosis that if you look at them, you can't even tell that there's anything wrong with them. But then there's others like me who you can tell if you see them in person or see their back or whatever. So there's not just one type of scoliosis. I feel like that is something that people don't really understand, because people have said,
you don't just have scoliosis, you're too short, blah, blah, blah. Scoliosis doesn't cause shortness.
It does. If it's in a severe case, it does. But if it's just like a small bend or like a little bit of curvature, it's not going to affect someone that much. Anyway, that's not what this is about. Because my spine is curved, I had a surgery when I was much younger to put a metal rod in my back to help keep my spine as straight as possible. Then every 6 months I would have to go back to the hospital and they would go in and lengthen the rod by doing surgery. So twice a year from the time that I don't remember when I got the rod put in. I was probably around 8 years old, 7 or 8 years old, I think. I don't know. I'm just giving y'all a little ballpark figure, but I'm pretty sure I was around that age. So then from the time that I was about 7 or 8 to I think I got my last lengthening when I was 16 or 17. So for about 8 to 9 years, twice a year, I had surgery to lengthen the rod in my back. And I know I've already told you guys this a million times, but for some that may not know, it's important for you to know this for this story. So this happened a few years ago. I don't remember the exact year, but I know it was before I was with my boyfriend. So it was at least 3 to 4 years ago, maybe longer than that, I don't really know. So today I'm gonna tell you guys the story about how my doctors found something in my liver, and it completely scared the absolute shit out of me and my parents. So I had gone in to get one of my routine twice a year lengthening surgeries. I went back to the pre-op room, the doctors came in and talked to me, and then I went back for surgery. And if you've ever had surgery, you know that anybody really should know this. They put a mask on you and you fall asleep, and then they do the surgery and then you wake up. Pretty self-explanatory, but I want to explain everything as clearly as possible. So like I said, everything was going pretty smoothly, and as it normally does, until it was time for me to wake up from surgery. While these lengthening procedures were still considered major surgery, they were one of the lesser invasive surgeries that my surgeon did. The amount of times that I'm going to say the word surgery in this video is probably going to piss you off and piss me off, so I'm just going to apologize in advance. So because the surgery wasn't super invasive and it was pretty short, these procedures are only about an hour to 2 hours long. Because of this, I would get to go home the same day. I would be able to go in, get the surgery, wake up, make sure I was all okay, and then they would let me go home. Part of this was also because my parents had gone through so much medical shit with me that the doctors trusted my parents to be able to take care of me at home instead of making me stay in the hospital for days. The only times that I would have to stay overnight is if something went wrong, or that the doctors ended up having to do more in the surgery than they had originally thought. and I would then need more time to recover. So usually after the surgery, I would wake up in a recovery room. But this particular surgery, and I remember this like it was yesterday. I don't know why, but I remember this moment so clearly. I remember waking up and looking right up at the ceiling, and the ceiling was moving. Now I know what you're thinking, Taylor, like, maybe it was the drugs. It was, you're seeing things. The drugs are, fucking with your brain. No, I was being wheeled through the hallways of the hospital by doctors, and I was like, I'm supposed to be in a room with darkness and a TV and a Slurpee by my side, not in a bed while doctors rush me down the hallway. So immediately I'm like, okay, something's up here. Instead of just leaving me in the recovery room, what they were doing was taking me to one of the overnight rooms or inpatient rooms, which is where you would normally go after surgery if you had to spend the night or spend a week. Basically, it just means you're not leaving the hospital that day. You're gonna have to sleep over at least one night. And I hated sleeping in the hospital. I mean, anybody would, but I mean, I had already done it a million times. So I'm just like, oh my god, this shit again. Why? What is the problem? So they get me into the inpatient room, if that's even what it's called, okay? I don't remember what these rooms are called. I'm pretty sure they're inpatient rooms, right? Or is there another name for it? I don't fucking know. Anyway, now you're gonna have to forgive me because after getting so many of these surgeries, the details and the memories just all blend together after a while, and my memory of this specific incident is so blurry that I'm not going to remember a lot of pieces, but I'm going to try to put it together for you anyway. So we get into the inpatient room, or whatever it's called, and I don't remember who it was that told me. It was one of my parents, I think, or maybe it was both of them, I don't know. But they both come up to my bedside, and both of them look terrified, or like sad, or, just that they were, I could tell that they were worried about something. When this happened, I was old enough to really know and be aware of what was going on, so of course I was immediately worried too, and I was like, what is going on? Why am I in this room? I shouldn't be in here. One of my parents told me that the doctors had found something foreign of some sort in my liver, and they were worried about it, so they wanted to keep an eye on me and run some tests. So they admitted me, that's the word. They admitted me to a hospital room because they were worried about my liver and they wanted to keep an eye on everything. This scared me shitless because now, I'm at the age where I know all the possibilities. I know that if they find something in a part of your body, that usually means a tumor. Like, okay, do I have cancer? Am I going to live? Am I okay? Like, what the fuck is going on? I thought I was just coming in to get a routine surgery, and now I'm here for my fucking liver. And meanwhile, I am in a lot of pain and I can barely move because my back was just cut open. So, yeah, I wake up from a peaceful sleep to this. Now, how they found that there was something in my liver, I don't remember. I don't know if it was the blood test that I had taken before the surgery and they didn't get the results back until now, or if they did another blood test during the surgery and they got the results back. I don't remember. And I asked my dad, and he doesn't really remember either. I forgot to ask my mom before filming this. Sorry, I'm a terrible storyteller. What they ended up telling me was that they are going to take me to get an ultrasound. If you don't know what an ultrasound is, it's what they do to like pregnant women when they're, pregnant and they want to like look at the baby, and you see those like pictures that are like black and white and you really can't tell what it is, but it's a baby. That's what an ultrasound is. And they don't just do that for pregnant women. They do it, to look at a lot of different things, like your heart, your stomach, your other organs, like a bunch of stuff. So they were gonna take me in to get an ultrasound of my liver. They take me into this room and lay me down, and it's dark as hell. I don't know why ultrasound rooms are always super, super dark. I don't know. maybe they're not always super dark, but the ones at my hospital, they're like super dark, the lights are dimmed, and I mean, it's comfortable. Like, they give you a comfy little blanket and a TV to watch, but why is it so dark? I don't know. So I'm laying in the bed, and my parents are sitting next to me on chairs, and then the doctor is on my right doing the little, it's like a little stick thing, and they put jelly on it, and then they put it on your body, and then whatever they're looking at inside your body shows up on the computer screen. So the whole time I was just kind of looking at my parents, and I was holding my mom's hand or my dad's hand. I don't remember. It was probably my mom's hand though. And the whole time I was looking at my parents, and I was like, do I have cancer? Is it a tumor? What is it? And they don't know. Like, I don't know why I'm asking them as if they know, but they were just as confused and scared as I was, probably. This ultrasound felt like it took hours. It really probably only took about 10 minutes, but it felt like I was laying there on that bed for hours because I was just petrified. Like, it was terrifying. I thought that I had like a whole nother disease I had to worry about. Now, don't quote me because, like I said, this whole thing is still like really fuzzy to me, but I think they might have done an MRI or a CT scan. I'm not sure, but I think maybe they did that as well. And I think they also did another blood test. They just did like a bunch of tests. So they do all the tests, whatever, and I go back to my room. Again, I don't remember if it was a few hours later or if I was there for like a couple days before they told us what exactly was wrong with my liver. But what it ended up being was not a tumor. It was just scar tissue. This is not me shitting on the doctors. Like, I believe them 1000%. The hospital that I go to is incredible. I'm only going to be able to go there until I'm 21, which sucks because it's a children's hospital. It's called the A.I. DuPont Children's Hospital. They are absolutely amazing. They have saved my life multiple times, especially Dr. William McKenzie, who is my surgeon. I'm actually about to go see him again in about 2 weeks just to do a follow-up appointment, make sure everything's going good. But if you go to that hospital, you are definitely in good hands. They're great. How I got scar tissue in my liver, I don't know. I mean, this is definitely something I could have asked my doctors, but I guess I just wasn't thinking about it. I have had a few surgeries on my stomach, so like maybe it was from one of those surgeries. But from what I know, I've never had surgery around my liver, like, or on my liver or anything. So I'm not sure how that got there, but everything was good. They just wanted me to come back 6 months later to get another ultrasound and make sure that it hadn't grown, because then if it had grown, then that would mean that it was a tumor, and then God knows what would have happened. But I did go back 6 months later, and we got another ultrasound, and it had not grown or moved or anything. Thank God. So that was a giant weight off my shoulders, but a very, very scary situation while it was happening. Now it's not funny, but it's like kind of a interesting story to tell, just like how things can go
from 0 to 100 real fucking quick
and then go right back down to 0. I have so many stories like this about like my hospital days or surgery days or, you know, other scares that I've had. But yeah, guys, that is the story of how I thought that I had liver cancer or a tumor in my liver, but I didn't. Thank God. I'm so thankful that turned out to be nothing. Still to this day, I think about it. Thank you guys so much for your support and love and everything that you do for me. If you would like to continue to support me, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you feel like it. And also, if you feel like it, you can follow me on Twitter to keep up with what I'm doing and when videos are gonna be out, because I always tweet when I'm about to record or you know, stuff like that, just to keep you guys updated. So yeah, I love you guys so much. You are the best thing that I have seen in my life. What? I don't know. I'm gonna stop talking and go watch Grey's Anatomy. Okay, love you guys. Bye.